27 of 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life. Today's sketch is by Alma Ross, and it's got one photo. I think I'm going to have more than one because I've got a set of stuff here I got to think about here, but it's got these kind of hearts kind of coming down. Then there's little, things kind of going here and there. Looks like there's little torn papers, little embellishments here, and then some mixed media and all that. And the reason I think I'm going to use more than one photo is because I've been hanging on to this Scrap Room Flavors of the Month. It's from September 2022, and it was this kind of lake collection. It's called Simple Vintage Lakeside, and it's by Simple Stories. And if I'm honest with you guys, like, we never go to the lake. I mean, we just don't do it. We don't go camping. It's just not something we do. So this kind of a collection can be a bit tricky. I guess technically the butterflies and stuff like that. This is the trickiest part for me. It's this sticker, and it came off the sticker sheet, and they have this like kind of bordery type thing here. I'm not going to pull it off just yet, but kind of has these things. And I set this aside, honestly, and I thought I'm just going to have to come back that some other time in the future. But then this sketch kind of reminded me of this because I think I can put this along the top. But my tricky part is, well, what I do with it. Oh, I have kind of three pictures. It's when my daughter and my husband, this is not a lake, y'all. It's a pond, but it's about as close as I'm going to get. So I'm kind of debating on using either these two because I kind of want to see my husband and my daughter, and if I cut them down like this, I can stack them so that it's kind of, like this or something. I might can do that and make that work because this is cute, but I think I'm going to set this one aside because she's by herself. And this one's kind of the whole like fishing stuff, although she's fishing there too. I don't know, y'all. I think I'm going to cut these down and use these two. And then, let me see here. I like this plaid, but there's these little ducks, y'all. But there's kind of that wood grain going on. So I think I'm going to use this to mat the back. That's kind of interesting. I love a diagonal behind. Yeah, I think I might do that, y'all. But then if I do that, I still hadn't figured it out. I know this is the collection I'm going to use. So let me think about this just a minute. Because it's showing black with the torn paper on it. But, ooh, it's textured. If I do this, then that might work, y'all. I can use like white mixed media and then that on there. Let me see how that's going to look. I'm going to trim these pictures real quick. When was this, by the way? 2008, y'all. 2008. So, let me trim these down just a second. And I'm going to come back on. This could be kind of neat in white pen or something. I don't know. Let me trim a few things. I'm going to come back on in a second. Okay, gang. I have got the two pictures that I showed you. I did cut them down to 4x4. I just used a little washi tape to kind of hold them together because I'm going to basically create it one big photo. So ultimately, just FYI, I've gone, I'm not going to say 100% rogue, but I've went pretty rogue with this layout here. So mostly because my picture was bigger and just different little things. So, but I think you can still see the inspiration, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. But anyway, I did take that double picture there. I matted it on the wood grain. So in the sketch, because the background was lighter, the darker mat was kind of to the outside and the lighter mat was to the inside. But because I've got this black cardstock, I've decided to do the darker mat to the inside and then the lighter, the plaid stuff to the outside. So I'm going to cut all that down. Now, I did notice that in the sketch, she had the top and bottom kind of torn. So I'm going to do that with my my little plaid here. And let's see, I'm going to kind of then start figuring out, okay, my sticker up there. Like I said, the whole main reason for me to use this sketch was for this little sticker deal. I don't know what they call that. It's like a border sticker, I guess. And there are these two open frames, so I'm going to have to fill these. And I do have to kind of, y'all, I probably did this the hardest possible way, but I set those down just very lightly so I could kind of figure out what's going to go behind. And I decided to get into the cut-aparts. I looked at the butterflies, but they were so busy, I was a little bit worried I couldn't make things stand out on them. So I got into the cut-aparts, and there was this one little cut-apart that said Big Fish Story, which was kind of perfect. So I cut it out. And I'm going to cut away in a minute because I basically kind of cut it out and then I set it behind the frame and then I have to like draw a little pencil line and cut and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it's not really that difficult of a process to kind of figure out what I'm doing here. So I'm going to lay those underneath there, and then I'm going to just, like I said, use a little pencil line and then just trim them. The other one I pick out is the little wood, it's at the top green one up there, and it says leave the road, take the trails. And I'm going to do that one in just a minute. So this is basically my process. Okay, look, again, I think I've made this harder than I had to, but it is what it is. So I figure that piece out there, and then I'm going to take my little pencil and just kind of draw, and then I cut it out. And then you can see my little green one I did over there. And I did all that before I even laid this thing down and glued it down. I don't know what made me do that. But anyway, so that's me gluing the black cardstock down. And I think everything looks good. I do have to trim one piece up there. I thought about trying to move it, and I thought, nope, you know what? Just poop on it. It is where it is, and you're just sticking it there. I did tuck my photo kind of up underneath there. It just made some sense. There's just a lot of like trees or whatever. It's like kind of dead space in the photo. So I let the little thing kind of dangle over the top. And then I'm looking at my thing here because I go, okay, I need something on the right-hand side. And I go back into my cut-aparts again. I thought about cutting that, y'all, with those big scissors. And that was stupid, Christine. Because I had a tiny little bit hanging at the bottom there. And so I'm going to get into my cut-aparts again. And I find this little, the one that's kind of blank. And initially I cut the whole cut apart because there's like, I think it was, I guess it's the wood thing. It's like the ducks or something around it maybe. And then I look at it again and I realize no, and I just end up cutting the little inner part out. So I don't know if I leave that in here though. I think I start to, and then I go, well, I don't want to sit there and watch that. See, there's like a little piece of paper kind of on top of a print, and I'm going to cut that little paper kind of out of the print. So I'm pulling up my ephemera. I'm like, okay, what have I got in here? Because I hadn't even looked, y'all. There's a little fish, which was good. There's a little green thing, cattail deal, which was kind of good. And a little dragonfly. There's a few other pieces like a duck and stuff. And I go, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that, but I set them aside. Here's where I start to cut that out, and then I go ahead and cut away. I did have to get my stash, though, because there wasn't anything that was really good for a title. And I found this little set of ombre letters, and I thought this Life is Good was kind of a good one because it's just kind of a generic phrase, but it's like showing, they're having a good time, I guess. It's good or whatever. And I like the script of it. It looks kind of neat. I like that there. And it's that pretty blue, too, that kind of turquoisey blue. So I'm going to put that on there. So just real quickly before I jump into anything else, because I will just start kind of sticking ephemera down in a minute where the sketch kind of shows some of the stuff. Again, I get a little bit rogue, but the photos, there was this little pond within very close walking distance to my in-laws' house. It was, if it was a quarter mile, I'd be surprised. It was literally like across the street and down a little sidewalk. And I don't know that it was really intended to be, well, it was little docks, kind of, not docks really, but like little, what are those called? I guess it's a dock, but there's no boats or anything. You could just walk kind of out on it. And I think people could fish. It was really intended for, honestly, recreational, like for the little kids or maybe old people or something. It's not meant for, sports fishermen or something. I'm not even sure she ever caught anything, to be frank with you, because it's not like it was fully stocked full of fish, but it was just fun. And she got to kind of play fisherman for the day or whatever. My husband went down there and kind of showed her how to throw it. And, just kind of, again, it was just kind of something to do, I guess, really, down there by my in-laws' house. They used to walk around that little pond all the time. That was kind of my mother-in-law's exercise. And it was real pretty. I mean, you could there was actually little benches and things, but again, it was not a big pond. It was definitely maybe 50 yards across. That's maybe as big as it was. So anyways, I've got my little ephemeras going down over here. I got two fish. I was really excited. There was a fish on the sticker sheet, and there was a fish in the ephemera. So I got two little fish over there and the little cattail. And then on the right-hand side, I did find the words at the lake. So now the title's kind of like Life is Good at the Lake. There was a couple of little fishing, what are those called? Lures, I guess. And I stuck those down, and then the little dragonfly. Now, I do put the left-hand fish over there. There's a little the paper one, the ephemera one. I put that up on foam, and then I put my little dragonfly up on foam. And that's all I put on foam, actually. I don't put anything else on foam. And I start looking, I go, okay, this sketch calls for mixed media. So I got over into my Lindy Stamp Gang. I have this gold, and I've covered up all the couple of pieces I really didn't want to get the gold on. And so you'll see there, I just kind of made sure I didn't get my pit on my photos, although I got a little bit on the corner up there. But I like this gold, actually. It's real pretty. It's got shimmer in it, and it's not too... I thought about white. I think I mentioned that in the intro, and I changed my mind. I decided to go with the gold because I didn't really want the white to take away from the overall look and feel of the page right now. So I do blot this. I've got that little used rag there, y'all. It's not dirty in the sense like it's not gross. It's just got like dried ink and stuff. So I dried up my little spots, and then that is all I'm going to do this layout, y'all. This one didn't take me very long either. I'm kind of excited. I'm getting my speed scrapping going on here, but it turned out real cute. And I was worried about this collection too, because I really didn't think I had anything to work with it. So I am really pleased. Well, thanks so much for watching. Make sure you check out the playlist. Also on Instagram, if you do the hashtag 30DSCBL11, you can find YouTube videos and layouts on Instagram with that. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.